This daf Yerushalmi Shekalim, the Ozva edition. We're on daf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph, and we are in the 6th line down. Ksiv Ach Bechor, which in the Vilna Yerushalmi is somewhere on Chesam base, towards the end of Chesam base, and in the Vilna Bavli Yerushalmi it is on Hayam base. About 7 lines to the bottom of the page. And the Mishnah has said that if you have money which is consecrated for Ma'aser Sheni or for other hekdesh, and you made machzis shekels, you yochal connect you have to correspond to that. So Gemara says, how do we know something which is already kodesh can't become kodesh something else? So ksib ach b'chor asher b'kar l'Hashem b'bheima, b'chor which is has been made become a b'chor to Hashem in an animal by being the firstborn male of a behema. Like dish isha, so you can't be makdish it. What do you mean you can't be makdish? It's already kodesh, but a koshu kodesh in kedusha chalalav. Since already kodesh, a sen kedusha does not chal on it. There's a concept of hektish ilui that you designate for you designate something for kedusha, even though it's already kodesh, and you give that value to hektish, but that's not being makdish. It really is just giving its value to hektish. So here, how can you make it makdish a shekel? So says Gemara, Keitzarosa, what do you do? Maybe sell a shechul. You say in order for this to come machzis a shekel, this Ma'aser Sheni or this shvius, which is talking about the Mishnah, you bring a seller shechulin, you bring a seller of chulin money. But it says most Ma'aser Sheni b'chol makom shein, the money of Ma'aser Sheni wherever they are mechulon al seller zeh. They are unconsecrated by being redeemed on this seller. And and though now this money which you exchanged for the money you had made machzis a shekel, it becomes the Ma'aser Sheni. And the shar, the rest of it here, meaning the money which is originally Ma'aser Sheni, which you had designated as machzis shekel, now reverts to machzis shekel, nasim shkolim. They can legitimately become shkolim, as the Korban says. V'ashar Moshe Yishon say machzis shekel nasim shkolim. They can become shkolim sharei chulim machshon. Now, like the chulim, because you gave these other coins in lieu of those original coins, and they're in lieu of the original, not in lieu, it's the wrong term, to take over the status of Ma'aser Sheni other hekdesh, and therefore the coins which were originally Ma'aser Sheni and hekdesh are now available as chulin to become appropriately machzis hashekel. Okay, says the Mishnah Halacha Gimel. Somebody who gathers money. These are from my shekel, from my machzis shekel, and because there's extra. There's more than you need for that purpose. The extra money goes to Nadava. It's the Kates HaMizbeach. Because it says Moshe, you put in Nadava, they go to Nadava, Lakriman, Olos to bring them, Olos the Kates HaMizbeach to adorn the Mizbeach as the extra korbanos. Besham follows the line of reasoning which don't does the Sfila B'Reish Perek Nazir Hekdesh Tos Hekdesh. This Hekdesh Tos. You made a mistake. You put aside too much money. It's still Hekdesh. Beisil says no. The rest of it is Chulin. Because you only had in mind to be makdish enough for your machzis shekel. Let's say you didn't have in mind to be makdish for anything. At worst, it's a toast, and therefore they're not hekdesh. You say, I want to bring from this money my shekel. Sham agrees, they didn't mean for all of it to become hekdesh, right? They just want whatever corresponds to your machzis shekel to be hekdesh. So they agreed in this case the excess is chulin. If you say that these should go from my chatlas, these coins, even Beisil agrees in this case the excess is nadava. We'll see why in a moment. Again, if you say I will bring from them my chatos, they both agree that the excess is chulin. Shimon said ma ben shkolim chatos. Why by shkolim they say that according to Beisham the extra amount is hektish v'tos, but it's hektish and becomes a dava. Whereas by chatos they don't say that. My mishkalim chatos. What's the difference between the two? He says, "Elo shelishkolim yeshlem kitzva." There's a limit to how much shekel you're going to bring, and therefore his kavanah was certainly actually his B'Shim is explaining. They still right. I lost my track of my line of thought there. So he's saying why by B'Koyin Beisil do we say Mosar and Chulin by Sheni and not by Chatas? Because by Chatos there is there's no limit. So therefore, Mosar Nadava, because any man can become a Chatos. Okay, you cut off if there's a cutoff at some point. So then the rest of them become the dava because they're suitably become hektish. But shkolim yesh them kitzvah, right? I should start backwards. So shkolim yesh them kitzvah, shkolim have a kitzvah. There's a certain amount. You can't give more than that, and therefore he never intended for anything more than the precise amount to be kodesh. Whereas chatos ain law kitzvah, chatos has no kitzvah. There's no limit. So therefore, whatever is excess is also considered to be hektish because it could have been chatos. Any amount could have been the value of the chatos, so therefore, if we didn't need the end, it becomes a nadava. Okay, Rabbi Omer after shkolim elem kitzvah. It says even shkolim have no kitzvah. It's not it's not necessarily matzah can be more. When Amos came from the Gola, he was shokling darkonos. He gave darkonos, which was a large coin. Now let's see the Korban Eid and Pnei Moshe. They have different pshatim here. And as the article points out in the Kluva Gusuros, one pshat is like the Rambam and the Rosh and the Rab. The other pshat is like the Talmud, the Rashbash, the Rivavan, and the Ravid. Okay, so the Pnei Moshe goes like the first pshat, the Rambam and those who are with him. So let's see Pnei Moshe first. So K'sh'oli Somen HaGoyla. Ba'os says Manei Olam Matbeil Shel Darkon Zav. They had a coin called Darkon. Darkon were two seller. At that time they take darkonos klomar meaning. Based on the value of the coins which were current at the time. They would take half of that coin, not half of the matzah of the Torah, which is half a seller, but half of the darkon, which is two sloim, which means they would give a full seller. Shum seller vu chatzi darkon. That's what gives matzah sheni. So according to the Pnei Moshe, so when the Mishnah says that Yerushalmi Shekalim doesn't mean they would give an actual darkon. They give half a darkon, which is a seller, which is double matzah shekel. According to Korban Eda, which is like the Rashbash, the Rivavan, and the Ravid. Was darkos mahesh some mother, but shavia selam mechza. According to somebody with a selam mechza, shazi tzrichim harbe avodas habayis shikol harbe, but they need a lot of money for the Beis Hamikdash, so therefore they took more than machzis shekel, and they didn't take a machzis of anything necessarily. It wasn't that they took a selam machzis to darkon? They took a full darkon, and they took a darkon because they need the money. Later on, when they need less money, they used to take less. Okay, so that they're two very different shatim. According to the first shat Moshe, since the current coin was a darkon, they took half of a darkon. So since the Korban says no, since the darkon was a lot of money, I need a lot of money, they took a full darkon. Okay, and the Mishnah itself can learn either way. Either darkon is literally a Korban or half a darkon like Moshe. Chazish kol sloim. Then they went back to do sloim, which according to the Korban is still a full seller, right? Which is more than machzis shekel. According to the Pnei Moshe, they when it says close, when they went back to give sloim means that they would give actually machzis shekel because Pnei Moshe, according to his shot, they gave half of the coin which is discussed, the subject of the Mishnah. Okay, so chazish kol tivim. And then they would start giving tivim, which is actually called korban true machzis shekel. And I guess the language of matbea, stam coin would be a machzis shekel because that's the coin which is the most common in Torah. According to the Pnei Moshe, however, so then it would actually be a quarter of a shekel. Big Shalishkol Dinarim. They want to go down to Dinarim, which is according to quarter of a shekel. According to the English, it's an eighth of a shekel. But all these things. I'm sorry. It doesn't say this explicitly, but they didn't let them do it. Art Scroll brings down a girsa. I'm not sure where it's from. Below Kiblu Mem Chacham. Chacham did not allow that. Because they couldn't give any less than the actual Machzis Shekel. It's on the I think it's from the Takli Chadatin. I don't see he actually changed his year, so. Don't say anybody Jesus gear, so. Except for the article. There's no people in Chachamim. Oh, the carbon A. Carbon A is it down. Carbon A that says lo kibul hen the shoym lo sif ashag the rice creates arach v'lo livchos yimenu. So they can't go less. They go more. They need the money, but they can't go less. Okay. Amar Shimon says afal pi chen yaku kulam Shabbos. He says this is similar to what he said before, right? Shkalim are not like chatos, in that shkalim, everybody gives the same amount, and it could depend, right? It could be that way. It could be we're going to increase the amount that they give, like we just said. They gave Darkonos, which whatever, whether you like Pnei Moshe, it's still more Matzah Shekel D'Oraisa. The question is how much more it is, right? If it's double or if it's 3 times as much. But in any event, Breiba has to be equal. Even if they change the shear, it has to be equal for everybody. They can't stagger it. Afa P. Kain Yarkum Shabbos. Avachatas, but a chat is not like that. Then maybe with selves, then maybe with shatayim, then maybe with shalosh. Everybody brings their own ever value they want for a korban chatas. Okay, and then I think it was Gemara says the mechanismo, somebody who gathers together the money. Yerushalmi says Mapi when we have machlokes b'sim b'shamai, where the which we had in our Mishnah, whether the mosar and the davar and mosar and chulin. So mechanis protros, where you gather a little bit by little bit by little bit. But you say these are my shekel. Grab a fistful of coins. Everybody can see it's much more than a maxis a shekel, right? But you grab a full fistful. So then, even Beis Hill concedes that the excess in the dava, because although you can't bring more than the maxis shekel, but clearly you wanted to bring from you in the entire handful, because otherwise you shouldn't have taken so much. Therefore, the rest of it is in the dava. Rabbi Chiz, that's one opinion. Chizka, Rabbi Bibi, Shem said, no, Maplikim Mechanis Prochot. Where's the Machlokas and Mechanis Prochot? As we said, Avaom Elu Shkoli, the exact opposite. Everybody knows that it's too much money, and therefore the extra amount is chulin, not nedava. Rabbi Chizka said, Mastisim Israel Rabbi Bibi. The Mishnah seems to agree with Rabbi Bibi, who said that by so how so? The time we learned Rabbi Shimon says ma b'shkolim chatos, which is in shkolim chatos. Shkolim yeshan kitzur chatos elo kitzba. So chatos have. Shkolim has a definite amount, fixed amount. Chatas has no fixed amount. Manakayim, what are they about? If we're talking about a case where a person says, I will bring from them my shekel, right? Everybody agrees that he said mehem, so the rest of them is chulin. If he said, I bring for them my chatos, right? Karma Moide. Everybody agrees Sham Moiser Chulin. Everybody agrees that the Moser is Chulin. Now it says here in the Dava and the Gemara, but it's changed to in parentheses, but it's changed to Chulin in brackets. Because it said in our Mishnah, also agree that everybody is Chulin in both those cases, right? So when we say Shavim Mem, everybody agrees that we're talking about that it's Chulin. Rather, what must the case be, which Rabbi Shimon is talking about? Ba'omer Elu Shekalim. He says Elu Shekalim. These are the Shekalim. So actually, it's Ba'omer Elu. It says when these are, it says Elu. So if you say it's Elu and it's Shekalim, Aideshi could Zvasim Torah Shekalim because the Torah gave them a specific Musar and Chulin. The rest of it is Chulin. Chatos. We said Elu Chatos, right? Aideshi and Kitzazim Torah Musar and Dava. The rest of it is Nidava. Because it said Elu, it didn't say Meilu, it said Elu, all of them. So Rabbi Bibi said Elu, when he said Elu, they are Nidava, as opposed to the Elu Shkoni, they was going to yeah, what was the exact quote? Right. So Rabbi Lezer had said, and we'll come back to him. Yerushalmi Lezer said that but it's saying that there would be no difference between Shkalim and Chatos. So for the virtue of the fact that the Rabbi Shimon says between Shkalim and Shkalim and Chatos, so that we have to say that that by and I'm getting confused. Right, by saying Elu the Shkalim, because it's the Moser is Chulin, and only by Chatos the Moser is Nadava, which is like Rav Bibi had said. Moser Chulin, as opposed to the Rabbi Yossi said Elu Shkalim Moser Meisha Moser Nadava. Okay, but we're going to come back to that. In the meantime, we finished the Yidal now, so we'll stop here for today.